probably concluding chapter 3 of part 6. The Bethany and Perea is about 30 miles from the Olivet Bethany, which is less than 2 miles from Jerusalem. 15 stadia, says Luke, while Jesus was carrying forward his work on the east of the Jordan, Lazarus sickened. I forget what Lazarus means, but John 11 is where we're talking about this from. Lazarus was the cherished friend of Jesus. Indeed, nowhere else in the history do we find Jesus enjoying the amenities of society in repose and away from the glare of publicity which notable men of affairs must always endure, except in this household, which consisted of a busy, bustling elder sister, a gentle, thoughtful younger sister, and a quiet brother, probably the youngest of the three. Bethany was so near to Jerusalem that it presented Jesus a place of easy retreat, and it was so small and unimportant a village, lying nestled quietly on the mountainside, containing no residence of official personage, whether civil or ecclesiastical, that it afforded a safe and happy escape from the bickerings and contentions of the excitable metropolis. Jesus had put himself upon the footing of most respectful familiarity with this family, insomuch that Martha came to him with her petty household cares, and the gentle Mary became his companion. These people were not desperately poor, but rather in moderately comfortable circumstances, seeing that they entertained company and were owners of a family burial place. When Lazarus sickened, the sisters dispatched a messenger to Jesus, saying simply, "Lord, behold, he whom you love is sick." It was a request delicately embedded in an expression of trustfulness. When Jesus heard it, he said, "This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified thereby." This was a declaration which showed that Jesus believed he could see the conclusion of this whole matter, and the results proved how correct it was. It was not merely an opinion of a case of sickness expressed after hearing the symptoms from the messenger, but it was of the nature of a prediction. It gave the messenger comfort to carry to the sisters. After receiving the message, Jesus remained in Perea 2 days before he again alluded to the subject or made any change in his movements. He then said to his disciples, "Let us go into Judea." They recalled the painful scenes through which they had so lately passed with him in Jerusalem, scenes which impressed them deeply with the feeling that the intentions of the ruling party were most malignant. They replied, "Rabbi, the Jews of late sought to stone you, and do you go there again?" His answer was, "Are there not 12 hours in the day? If anyone walk in the day, he does not stumble, because he sees the light of this world. But if anyone walk in the night, he stumbles, because there is no light in him." There is in these words not only a lofty truth as to the special mission of the extraordinary man who uttered them, but an important principle touching all human life. The disciples desired to prolong his life by keeping him from his enemies. He did not desire to lose his life in any sense, either by having his career cut short by his foes or by his own departure from the line of his rightful work. He held that if he should protract the years of his natural life by keeping out of the line of his work, because the peril of death lay therein, his life would be lost in a worse manner than if he were killed in doing his work at the right time and place. He should have outlived himself and thus have lost his life. The only safety and happiness lie in doing the assigned work, discharging the obvious duty. And that's, of course, a key point of the Bhagavad Gita, is that you do your own work. No one vicariously does it for you. Whatever that duty may be. I mean, your actual duty, not just what people tell you to do, right? That is walking in the light. There is just so much of light in life. You know, the L and the X in the Luciferos. formula, right? Lucifer's, Lucifer, say 12 hours. If a man fill those hours with the right work, he has gained life. If he omit, then endeavor to go out in the night to work. And OX is another formula that is used. He stumbles to apply it to himself. If his duty call him to Bethany, thither he must go, even if the Jews kill him, for staying away is stepping out of the light of duty into the night of selfishness. If Jesus do so, he can no longer accomplish any good in Perea, or Galilee, or elsewhere. He must walk in the day. He then said to them, Lazarus, our friend is sleeping, but I go that I may awake him. He knew that Lazarus was dead, whether by the prophetic spirit that was in him or by his judgment upon whatever description of the case the messenger may have given. It is not important to decide, but the fact is that Jesus in Perea knew that Lazarus was dead. In the Bethany near Jerusalem, he desired to prepare the minds of his disciples for the dangerous journey, and so began to let them know the exact state of the case. They took his statement literally and said, Lord, if he sleep, he shall recover. But Jesus spoke of his death. In all languages, sleep is represented as the image of death, but it comes with extraordinary beauty and force from the lips of him who is going to arouse the sleeper. Then Jesus said to them plainly, Lazarus is dead, and I am glad on your account that I was not there, that ye may believe. But let us go to him. The history here inserts a literal incident, which is very beautiful, and which sheds light on a certain cast of character. Thomas, called Didymus, turned to his fellow disciples and said very pathetically, Let us also go that we may die with him. Thomas was a natural skeptic, a constitutional doubter, and a desponding soul. He required the most grossly palpable proofs to win his belief, but he was true-hearted and brave when he did believe, and of just such stuff do we find a certain class of doubters and melancholy men in all ages. Lazarus was dead. Jesus was going to die. The circle was breaking. Let us all go together, said this sad, brave man. His faith could not reach to the heights of his master's prediction, but his fidelity made him ready to follow that master out of the death. Wow. Be prepared to die any day, right? And realize friendships and other stuff may fail first. Or maybe not fail, but, separation could occur. Why Jesus should have delayed 2 days in Perea after receiving the message of Martha and Mary, we can only conjecture, as scarcely any theory yet presented seems entirely satisfactory. Now, it's not a theory if there's not evidence to back it up. If people are having their faith conclusions, but they don't have evidence, if they're just speculating possibilities, they're not really theorizing. He did not idle. He was not endeavoring to while away time. In Perea he found plenty of work to do, and he chose to finish what had been so auspiciously begun. It is true that he might have left some disciples behind him and have returned, but he did not intend to return. His career was coming to its close. He read his circumstances correctly. Moreover, he was never hurried. He had that self-possession which, when conjoined with high intellectual and moral qualities, is the measure of true greatness. He knew what he could do and what he would do. And then he had a respect to those, his dearest friends, whose spiritual improvement was a ruling consideration in this matter. He was working for the good of men and for the glory of God. He neither loitered nor hurried.